All right, how's everybody doing today? Today I want to talk about the extra golf bags that we get. So they've made the new bag rule so when you land on a hole and you're in a one-on-one, or whenever you're playing, just like changing your ball, you can change from bag one to bag two, or if you have bag three or bag four. So as you go up the scale, it looks like from when you're in they don't have the rankings up yet. They haven't finished it all because this is such a new process in the game, these clans. But it looks like there's going to be up to 5 extra bags that you can have. And this is going to be huge for those clans that, especially for the clans that are playing, masters level games and they're playing at the top. Having 5 bags is going to be huge because you can go, this really isn't a tournament thing because you can switch clubs between holes in the tournament. Although my personal opinion is that they should make us declare a bag for that round of the tournament and we stick with those clubs. That's going to put a lot more emphasis on picking the right clubs and making, some of those clubs that we pull out just for certain holes, can we make up that with another club? It's going to put a lot more focus on picking the right clubs if they made us declare a bag. But in one-on-one, when we're playing and we're, either you're trying to increase your coins or you're trying to open up more chests or you're trying to increase your trophy count and you're going up the scale, having these extra bags is going to be huge. So you can imagine at the Masters level, somebody coming in and their clan's high enough up, they've got 5 bags set up. So they've got a bag for this particular hole in one of those 5. So they're going to be playing basically with a tournament setup, the exact thing you need on that hole to get that eagle or to get that albatross or whatever. They're going to have that stuff all set up. So that's a huge advantage. Now, if you're playing in the expert or masters divisions, you really need to watch Zachary Jones and keep track because he's got a lot of, if you're playing at the masters and expert level, high expert, you're going to get a lot of super valuable information that's going to be very geared towards what you're playing. This video is going to be more for people who are playing rookie, and that's not to say that they don't have great clubs and that they're not great players. There's a lot of masters that play in the rookie division, and so the competition is super tight. But if you're playing down here from Tour 7 and below, the way I think I'm going to work my bag is like right now in Tour 6, we're having a tournament, the Festive Cup. And so if we go to Golf Clash Notebook, if I can get my stylus to work. If we go to Golf Clash Notebook here and we pull up tours and you look at Tour 6, this is so if you're playing a rookie, you can play the tournament holes, which are at City Park. So we have City Park, Juniper Point, and Southern Pine. So let's just take Tour 6 as an example. So right now, it's the weekend before the tournament starts, and we're trying to get these tournament holes so we can get in practice time on the tournament holes. And I'm going to set my second bag up so that its wood is going to be a big dog, because there's several of these holes that having the biggest wood. So if you're in the upper levels, you're going to bring a Cataclysm. You're going to bring something that's got lots of distance, and the big dog's got lots of distance. It's got lots of top spin. It's got good curl. The only thing it's lacking is ball guide. So bringing it to some of these holes is going to increase my odds of getting that eagle. And a hole like this, it takes 2 good shots to get onto the hole. And if you're short down here at all, if you're on the other side of this little round right here, you're going to have a very difficult time unless you brought the biggest wood in your bag. And you still might not make it. So there's a bunch of holes in the City Park that the big dog is really the wood to have. So my day-to-day, my utility bag, I carry a Guardian, which is a long wood, but it doesn't have very much topspin. So on regular playing in the holes like this, it sometimes hurts me, but it's very, very effective in shootouts. So I suffer along with it when I'm playing so that I'm more effective on shootouts. But if you're practicing for the tournament, I'm going to set my second bag up. It's going to be exactly like my main utility bag, but I'm going to put in a big dog so that I can start seeing how it responds on the course, like where I need to be if I was in my big dog range, and practice with it. Now, when I'm not, when it's non-tournament week and we're in Tour 6, and let's say that was our normal tour, then what I'm going to want to do is set up a second bag. I'm going to want to look at the City Park, Juniper Point, and Southern Pine holes and make a little homework assignment for myself. Go to Golf Clash Notebook and come in here and look at these holes and think to yourself, okay, this is a par 3. So on a par 3, I could use my Guardian here. I could use a Saturn, a back. So if you're coming at it below the line, the red line's going to be up in here. If you're using a Marlin or a Navigator, somewhere in this neighborhood, it's going to be your red line. On this hole, I'm going to bring a Saturn, and like if I wanted to hit on the other side of that because I had a big headwind, I might need a Guardian. What clubs am I going to bring here? How am I going to do this? I could do this with a Saturn or a Backbone, either way, and hit from down here and come up on the green. Or I could hit from down here and come on the green and have a little bit of breathing room below the red line to move for head or tailwind. So here you've got a long iron and a short iron, a long iron and a wood that are going to make the difference. Pretty much any driver you can get down into this area. But once you get down into this area, it is a long wood shot to get up here. And if you're even a little bit short and you brought a sniper, you can hop from this lower level to get up, but it is very steep over here to get up. So like maybe you play in your normal utility bag, your day-to-day bag, you play with a sniper. So maybe in, this hole right here, it's not going to get it done. So on this hole right here, maybe you need to bring a big dog and start writing down what you're going to need on all these holes. And what you're looking for, especially if you only have one extra bag, now we're at the point where this just started and now we're saying, well, hell, I only got one extra bag. So we went from not having any extra bag at all to now we have a bag, and now it's like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we had 2 bags? So this is really going to help the clan thing now that these bags actually have some effectiveness. So having 2 bags is great, but I'm going to tell you, people are going to be really wanting to get that 3rd bag or that 4th bag or that 5th bag as the new divisions start coming out. But tailor your bag to the tour that you're playing. So if you're playing on Tour 2 or Tour 3 or Tour 5 or Tour 10 or Tour 12 or whatever you're playing it at, you're going to want to look at all of the holes that are in the tour that you're playing. And you're going to want to put together bags that you're going to want to have your normal day-to-day utility bag. And then you've got that specialty bag. And I, just like thinking about how you'd set that bag up, you're looking for the holes that, for me, it's all about eagles. Like, how many eagles do you have? What is the percentage of your eagles compared to how many games you've played? So if I look at my eagles, I've shot 1,331 eagles in 4,700 games. Now, probably 200 of those games I've forfeited. So I'm probably closer to 4,500 games, but let's say 4,700. So 1,331. 4711. So 28% of the games that I've played, I've eagled. And you want that number to be a high percentage. So we're looking for those eagle shots. Like on this particular hole, eagle's possible, but only if you brought this stuff. On this par 4, eagle's possible, but only if you bring this stuff. And look at those holes where you can, if you had the right clubs, just like if you were playing in a tournament, if you brought the tournament clubs for that hole and you had the tournament set up, then yeah, hey, I can get an eagle on this hole. Pretty easy. But if I'm just playing with my normal day-to-day clubs, this wood's not going to get it done. I'm going to have to struggle to get there. So look at those holes that give you your best opportunity to win out on the course and not have to go to a shootout. Just absolutely just beat them, smoke them. You know, you get the eagle, they get the birdie, because they didn't bring the right clubs. They didn't have that second bag set up right. So when you're looking through whatever tour it is that you're playing, whether it's one of the high level tours or whether it's one of the low level tours, you want to be looking at the holes on there that you can get that eagle if you had the right clubs. So if you look at the hole and you go, hey, you can get eagle on this hole no matter what clubs you bring, then you don't have to worry about that hole. That your utility bag is going to get it done. But if you look at that hole and you go, wow, you know, when you get to this hole, if you were playing in a tournament, you're going to bring this. And that's going to almost, you know, unless somebody else brought that exact same stuff, it's going to be hard for them to, it's going to be a difficult hole for them. So those are what you're going to, you know, what I'm going to look at when I'm playing a tour. So during the time that I'm not playing tournaments, if I'm playing to open up chess, then I normally play Tour 7. So I'm going to be going through, my homework assignment is to go through a Tour 7 and look at all the holes that are in there and see, you know, like what clubs, like how many of these holes do I need a quarterback on? Or how many of these holes is the extra mile, like, you know, while the extra mile, especially when you're doing wide open shots where you're going as far as you can, you know, it works great on those holes. But when you're doing layup shots, it doesn't always work so well because it's not as accurate. I mean, the quarterback's twice as accurate. So if you're doing a layup shot, why wouldn't you use your club that's twice as accurate? So, you know, maybe you're in one of those tours where accuracy counts and it's not so much distance on that second shot. So you're going to pick the clubs that are going to be right for what clubs you have in your bag and what tour you're playing at that time. And then, you know, come tournament week, or if you move up a tour, you're going to go back and redo your stuff. And we're going to have to keep notes on it, just like tournaments. So you're going to have a Tour 7. So if you were at Tour 8 and you were at Tour 8 for a while and then all of a sudden there was a tournament at Tour 7, you'd want to pull up your notes from Tour 7 and say, hey, when I'm in Tour 7, I set my second back up like this. And I set my third back up like this. So the more bags we get, if you're in a clan that's moving up the scale, the more bags you get, the more thought process you're going to be able to put into it. Where, hey, I've got, out of the 27 holes that are in Tour 7, I've got 18 of them where I have the tournament set up. You know, like when I get to that hole, I'm ready just like it was a tournament. Now, that only is going to work if you can actually beat that person out on the course. So, you know, if you're still going to shootouts because you're not getting it done, then what's going to happen is that you may not, you know, you may have brought those right clubs for that hole, but you didn't bring right clubs at all for a shootout. So if you find yourself, you know, using your second bag and it's not getting the job done, you're not able to execute in order to just outright win those matches, and you're ending up in a lot of shootouts, then, you know, you may want to rethink your strategy. So that's just a little bit of my thought process on how I'm going to set up my second bag. Now, I haven't set it up yet, and I will, I'm going to do a little bit of thinking about it, and I'm going to go through the holes, and once I get it set up, I'll try and shoot another video so that we can continue this discussion. But if you're in the upper levels, you know, especially if you're in the top ranks of the expert and master, you really need to watch or if that's where you want to go, you want to start getting into that, then you need to watch Zachary Jones' videos on how, you know, what his thought processes are on setting up those bags, because it's a totally different story. It's going to be a different thing at every level. So those bags are going to depend on where you're at and what clubs you have in your bag. And so you want to make really good decisions with them. All right. That was it for this one. Thanks for watching.